What's going on, fanatics? Albert Torres here with another Dallas Cowboys game reaction for their Week 6 matchup versus the Los Angeles Chargers. What a game. What a game. It was a close one to the bitter end. And the Dallas Cowboys, they started their opening drive with a 3-and-out for the third time in 6 games, but responded with an 18-yard touchdown run by Dak Prescott on a 4th-and-1. That's Prescott's longest rushing TD of his career and the longest by a Cowboys quarterback since Jon Kitna's 29-yarder in 2010. The Cowboys defense held a number 5 scoring offense under their season average of 27.5 points per game, and the Cowboys beat the Los Angeles Chargers 20-17. The Cowboys' 2 losses have occurred when their opponent scores on an opening drive, but not tonight. They escape a close one despite continuing to show they're an undisciplined team by committing penalty after penalty after penalty. And the Cowboys are now 4-2 and just a game behind the 49ers, the Eagles, and the Lions. What a crazy 2 weeks for the Cowboys that it's been. You know, after that blowout with the 49ers, the Cowboys were just, being pushed under the rug, trash team. They can't get over that hump, which, technically they still haven't gotten over the hump, but, there's still a lot of football to play. And, just from one week to the other, you're just one game behind that very important number 1 seed that I might be getting myself a little too far ahead thinking number 1 seed. A lot of emotions right now, but, let's get what we saw today in this game. And in this game, Herbert, one of the good things, again, that our defense is going to keep us in every single game. And they made it uncomfortable for Herbert. Even though he only got sacked, once, which Micah Parsons came out clutch. I hadn't seen him all game long. Hadn't seen him at all. And he came out with a sack when it was needed. And let's take a look here. So it looks like, it was that one sack from Micah Parsons. And Herbert was pressured 18 times. So he wasn't comfortable in that pocket. I know he threw for about 37 times, I believe, that he threw it. Pressured for 18. That's pretty much, man, just, some fractions right there and just a couple decimals. But it's almost basically half, man. He was pressured for half of his dropbacks. Marquise Bells, man, his name just kept coming up in that broadcast. He played really well. He had a good game. He's that hybrid safety linebacker. They had him playing at linebacker, covering for Leighton Vander Esch, and he did a great job. He really did. And also one of the key plays that I thought our defense did good was there was a big 4th-and-inches stop in that third quarter where Deron Bland deflected the pass. It was starting in the second half where the Chargers were driving the ball. They were moving the ball, and with 4th-and-inches, Kellen Moore decides to run a rollout with Herbert. Deron Bland gets the deflection. I don't know why on 4th-and-inches he decided to go with a rollout, but we'll take it. Our defense came up with that big stop that I thought was crucial up until that point because we had a 3-point lead going into the half, I believe, because it was 10-7, and we came up with that big stop after that second half started. And another thing, CeeDee Lamb, great game. 7 targets, 7 catches, 117 yards. I think that CeeDee Lamb should get 10 targets minimum, at least. He's our best receiver. He makes things happen. He does get open. Dak just needs to find them. And, Lamb and Cooks had a really good game. Cooks, even though he had 4 receptions for 36 yards, they were very impactful. And one of those receptions was for a very key touchdown that we took the lead on. And, Lamb, Cooks, Bell, those guys had great games today. And one thing that I didn't like with Dak Prescott, with Gallup, is that Gallup had 11 targets. 11 targets. Some of those targets should go to Lamb. He's our best player. I know Gallup was dropping passes and Prescott didn't give him a good ball and one, and some he did. But I know you're trying to get something going with Gallup. Just let it happen naturally. Don't force the ball to him. I felt CeeDee Lamb was getting frustrated, and at some point where Dak just kept looking for Gallup, and it just wasn't there. And just let it naturally happen. And, some of the bad was, again, 3 and outs. We can't start a game with 3 and outs. 3 of the last 6 games, we've started with 3 and outs on our opening drive. It can't happen. We need to start with the lead. We need to score. We need to get something, at least 3 points, Get on the board first. Give our defense a little cushion, and it'll get us off to a right start. And another thing, penalties, man. Penalties. It's just unacceptable that the Cowboys were just penalized so much. Let's see, I believe it was 10. It was like 10 penalties or 11 penalties that they had. Let's see here. Yeah, 11 penalties for 85 yards. A lot of those were costly. Some of those were on defense as well. So just as a collective unit, the Cowboys are just not showing discipline. Where if they would have been playing, I know the Chargers are a good team, but if they would have been playing a better team that's more disciplined, these penalties could have hurt us, man. And again, our defense is going to keep us in the game. And let's talk about Jalen Tolbert. Man, I know that all these other bad things could have cost us the game, but at that particular moment, we were getting momentum. We had just scored that touchdown. Our defense had come up with the stop. I don't know what he was thinking. Clearly, he got bumped into his teammate, into Turpin. Obviously you've got the helmet. You can't see much. A lot of stuff going on in that punt return. But man, just from the outside looking in, that looked like a boneheaded move. It did look like he did get pushed into touching the ball, but it looked like that was his intent, regardless of the push or not. Trying to go and recover the ball. I don't know what happened there. Chargers ended up scoring and tying the game up from there, but luckily, our offense was able to drive down the field, get a field goal from Aubrey, and man, he's been solid. He's been really, really good. Our kicker, man. Hopefully, we can score more touchdowns than rely on our kicker, but he's been really good. And, Dak Prescott, 21 of 30, 272 yards, I believe. 1 touchdown to Brandon Cooks. No interceptions. He has a donut in that interceptions department, which is really good. Having that terrible game last week versus the 49ers. And, just the Cowboys got to clean up, man. We got lucky that the Chargers also were penalized quite a bit. 9 penalties, 79 yards. We got lucky. They had a couple of holds, couple of other penalties that hurt them. They also just kind of beat themselves, man. So, I don't know. This victory, it's good. I'll take it going into the bye. We're 4-2, but it feels one of those ugly wins that the team could have played better, and that's just something they're going to have to clean up. The Cowboys also, I don't know what Mike McCarthy was thinking in that first half. Instead of calling a timeout with 14 seconds left and taking a couple of shots, he decided to just go for the field goal. They got stopped on 4th and inches at the Chargers 13 when the score was tied 7-7. So at that point, he should have gone for a field goal, I feel like. Go for the lead. It's different when you're down and you need 7 instead of 3. I get that. But I don't know. I felt he should have gone for the field goal. I think he was just not trying to make Dak maybe force something and end up with no points. And he just felt like he maybe made a mistake that last time and just wanted the 3 points. But man, I feel like get a couple shots out there. We had 2 timeouts. You can't carry 1 timeout onto the next half, so you might as well use it. Who knows? But Micah Parsons was nowhere to be found up until that sack. That's when you want these playmakers, these big-time players, to make a play when they need it, and Micah did it. D-Law was doing his thing too, putting pressure. I'm sure the defense also, have a couple of things to to clean up. And Stephon Gilmore just sealed the game with that pick, you know. So we'll take the win. On to the bye. Then we've got the Rams. And we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see if it's another home game like Scott Van Pelt and all those others were saying, that the stadium was full of Cowboys fans. So hopefully it's another good turnout for the Cowboys. We'll see if they clean up some of these penalties. I'm hoping this habit, we still have time to get rid of this habit. I hope it's not too late. That's something that can cost us deep into the season. So penalties. Got to clean those up. And CeeDee Lamb, I want to see CeeDee Lamb get fed a lot more. Look for him. 10 targets minimum at least. I know sometimes that could be hard, but that's where Mike McCarthy's got to get creative. Get him a little bit into motion plays. You know, I know Brandon Cooks had a couple of jet sweeps. Have him touch the ball like that. Get him in a rhythm. I don't know, man. I'm a fan. I like to analyze the game sometimes. I'm just watching. I'm not the one here trying to give him suggestions. It's just what I'm thinking, you know. Give the best player your ball. Find the ways to look for him. And, you know, he'll take care of everything else. So, good game. You know, good game. We'll move on to our bye week and to the Rams. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Hit that thumbs up to like this video. I'll see you on the next.